Hello lovely viewers, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful News official YouTube channel. The nurse in Liam's hospital room urges him to open his eyes and wake up before telling Hope and Steffi that she must check his vitals. The nurse informs him that his vitals are stable and that he may be able to hear then. After she departs, Steffi and Hope discuss Bill as the reason Liam is present. Hope and Steffi are joined by Bridget. She wanted to see how Liam was doing. They all wish him a speedy awakening. According to Steffi, they adore him. Bridget finds out that Beth and Kelly don't know anything. They can't let him go, Steffi says. Grace enters and wants to do her own examination on Liam. She exhorts Hope and Steffi to accompany the others. Bill informs Ridge and Taylor in the hallway that he would want to see his son. He has no justifications. Luna will live to rue his foolish decision to free him from jail. All he can hope for is that his punishment won't be losing his kid. I must see my son. Liam shouldn't wake up and face Bill, the guy who let Luna loose on the world, Rich yells. Bill is informed by Taylor that he is not alone. He is accompanied by Steffi and Hope. Bill is furious that he will not be separated from his kid. He rushes off, Rich following. When Brooke shows there, Taylor informs her that Luna shot Liam. Rich pushes Bill in an empty room and claims that he is to blame for Liam's shooting. For once, he yells at him to act morally towards his kid. Rich informs Bill that he almost caused Liam's death. He is also a member of their family. He will destroy him if his granddaughter loses her father. Bill claims that because nothing would remain of him, he wouldn't have to. Rich complains that Bill is conceited and believes he is exempt from rules. He lacks a sense of morality. Because he constantly chooses himself, his family is aware that he is incapable of receiving love and respect. He'll be left on his own. Go be alone, he says. He and his interpretation of regret are not necessary for Liam. Bill believed he was in control of the Luna issue. Rich questions how he could put his confidence in someone who grinned while killing 2 people in cold blood. He charges Bill of being indifferent to what transpired. Bill gives a headshake. His actions have no justification. There is nothing he can do, Rich informs him. Perhaps Hope Liam makes it. Billy boy, this guilt will consume you if he doesn't. When Taylor tells Brooke that Luna is dead in the hallway, Brooke exclaims, "Oh my God." Taylor also claims that Liam saved Steffi's life. They are joined by Hope and Steffi, who provide an update on Liam. When Ridge and Bill emerge, Hope queries Bill about his continued presence. For his kid, Bill is there. Hope informs him that his insane fixation with Luna is the reason he is in that hospital bed. She desires his departure. Bill refuses to abandon his kid. Hope complains that they won't feel sorry for him. Especially from Liam, he doesn't merit it. Not with a brain tumor he's battling. What? Bill growls. Hope explains that Liam has been battling cancer all along. Steffi jokes that he would have likely encouraged Liam to man up and go on when Bill finds out that he didn't notify him about his illness. Bill rails. What are you discussing? This isn't possible. Hope informs him that the tumor cannot be removed even if Liam survives the gunshot. In Sheila's hospital room, Bill is inconsolable. She processes the information that, despite Lee and Bridget's best efforts, Luna passed away while recovering. Finn advises her to concentrate on getting well. The situation might have been far worse. Lee comes in and requests a private conversation with Finn. Deacon apologizes to Sheila as they go. He is aware that she wants to assist Luna somehow. Sheila is aware that her granddaughter has harmed others. She caused harm to those she loved. She just refused to listen, so she left. Sheila feels as if a part of herself perished along with her. Sheila confides in Deacon that she hoped Luna might change her life. Sheila saves Steffi's life, according to Deacon. He is quite proud of her for standing up for Finn's wife. Lee wants Finn to tell her the truth about Luna in a separate room. What are your true feelings over the passing of your daughter? She vows not to pass judgment. You don't need to act like this isn't difficult. Finn acknowledges that it's difficult. All he's doing is trying to take it all in. She squandered her life. It was rife with trauma and discontent. That is how his child grew up. How, therefore, could he be emotionless? However, his wife may not be alive. Hayes becomes nauseated at the idea of her being near him. Liam Lee also begs her son to release Luna. When Deputy Chief Baker walks in, he informs them that Luna also drew a pistol on the school instructor. She will never be able to leave jail if she lives. According to Finn, she's dead. Bridget worries because Liam hasn't woken up yet in his room. Grace is aware that this is a private issue for her. Spend time with your family. When she is alone herself, Grace seems anxious or worried out as she bends over Liam and whispers, "We can't lose you, Liam. We can't lose you." Bill finds it difficult to believe that Liam has brain cancer and that they have concealed it from him in the hallway. Hope says, "Do you really need to ask why?" Bill claims that he will stop at nothing to preserve his kid. He is aware of it. Steffi claims that he is self-centered and only thinks about himself. Liam didn't inform him because of this. Bill contends that is untrue. He would sacrifice himself for his sons. He made Liam feel inadequate, according to Hope's complaints. "They just had an incredible talk," Bill sobs. "There will be no death for my kid." Steffi advises him to hope he doesn't. He won't have to give his life if she has to inform her kid that her father is dead due to his self-centered foolishness. At this moment, Bridget and Finn are beaming. They were recently informed by Dr. Buckingham that Liam is beginning to react. Hope and Steffi dash off. Taylor gives Ridge a hug as Brooke glances at Bill. Grace informs Steffi, Hope, and Finn that Liam is reacting to stimuli in his room. He opens his eyes as Steffi and Hope beg him to wake up. As he attempts to concentrate on their faces, they rush to his side. "Hey," he croaks. Steffi and Hope are filled with relief. "Thank God you're back." Liam's motionless body was covered in lengthy shadows from the antiseptic, dull lights of his hospital room. The smell of antiseptic hung in the air like a ghost of anguish and terror, while monitors beeped in a constant, sluggish cadence. Standing just outside the door, Bill Spencer was pale, still, and quiet as he gazed at his son through the glass, his wide shoulders stiff, and his hands clenched at his sides. The nurse came out and gave him a subtle nod, but he didn't flinch. "He's still not responding, but he might be able to hear us," she murmured. Hope Logan sat on one side of the bed inside the room, clutching Liam's hand in both of hers and running her thumb over his knuckles. Hope's voice trembled as Steffi Forrester sat rigidly on the other side, her hand pressing against Liam's forehead as though the sheer power of love could wake him. Between the two women, silent prayers were exchanged through shattered glances and suppressed sobs. Whatever their past was, it didn't matter anymore. Steffi repeated, "Liam, baby, you need to wake up. Please, we need you. Beth needs you. And Kelly, she's been asking for you nonstop. She's so scared. You can't go with us." The door opened again, and Dr. Bridget Forrester entered. Her face was drawn, her professionalism nearly giving in to her personal worries. She was more than just a doctor here. She was family. When she saw Liam and the two ladies standing watch, her eyes became softer. Bridget took out her stethoscope and said, "I needed to check on him myself." She looked over his paperwork, then checked his vitals and reflexes, and found that he was stable and hanging on. "That's good, but we need to find out why he collapsed so abruptly." Hope pursed her lips. Steffi whispered, "Do you think it was just the stress or something worse?" Bridget hesitated. "There's something concerning in the scans. That's why we're bringing in another specialist." Before anyone could say anything more, the door opened again. Dr. Grace Buckingham entered, clipboard in hand, eyes keen. Bridget tensed slightly, but she remained polite. "I want to examine Liam myself," said Grace. "Alone, please." Steffi and Hope exchanged suspicious looks. "Why?" Grace smiled coldly. "Protocol. You'll have time later." Bridget stepped in. "This is all your fault, Bill. You dragged Liam into your mess." "Actually, I'll stay. Liam is also my patient." But before things could get out of hand, another voice interrupted the hallway. "Enough." Rich Forrester, obviously agitated, appeared just behind Bill, who hadn't moved an inch. Ridge's voice was sharp with anger. Rich said, "You think I wanted this, Rich? You think I wouldn't trade places with my son in a second? You don't know what I've been going through." "You mean what we've been going through?" Bill turned slowly, his face stone. "Now he's in a coma with a damn tumor. This is about Liam, and if it weren't for your carelessness, he wouldn't be in this hospital bed." Nurses were running in response to the commotion, and Brooke Logan arrived just in time to separate them. "Stop it, you two. This isn't helping Liam." At that moment, a new voice entered the fray, one that broke the tension with the authority of experience and hope. "Mr." A new doctor in a clean white coat stood calmly and confidently in front of Spencer, holding Liam's most recent test results. He identified himself as Dr. Jonathan Armstrong, a renowned neurologist known for taking on life-threatening cases and saving lives. "I've reviewed Liam's scans and medical records," said Dr. Armstrong. What are you saying?" "I'm saying that the tumor might not be as aggressive or deeply rooted as initially believed. There's a chance, a tiny but significant one, that with the proper treatment protocol and a highly precise surgery, we might be able to remove it completely, even though the initial diagnosis suggested an inoperable brain tumor. You can save him, Doctor. Hope stood up suddenly, gasping. Armstrong nodded. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it, but we need to act fast. Every hour matters. Bill finally entered the room fully, making his way to Liam's bedside and kneeling next to him. You hear that, son? There's hope. You're going to make it. Steffi put her hands to her mouth and sobbed softly, and hope dissolved into Bridget's arms. The room, which had been filled with fear, now glowed dimly with the light of possibility, but the news did not ease everyone. Out in the hallway, Grace tightened her grip on her tablet and narrowed her eyes. She'd seen the scans too, and she knew what was real and what wasn't. There was no tumor, not the kind they thought, and what Liam had wasn't natural, and Grace had a reason to keep it that way. Liam hadn't fallen ill naturally, and if Dr. Armstrong looked further, he might find out. The hospital corridors had calmed down later that evening, but inside Liam's room, the storm continued to rage. Hope and Steffi had alternated talking to Liam, while Bridget and Dr. Armstrong reviewed the surgical plans. He had been poisoned over time, and Grace knew who the poisoner was because she had assisted them. Bill had gone out for a call, but Grace was still too close, too close. Glancing over her shoulder as she approached Liam's floor, Grace took a tiny vial out of her coat pocket, a clear, odorless liquid, and her hand shook, her conscience threatening to rip through the barrier of excuse she had constructed. I'm monitoring all medication. I'll handle this. Bridget narrowed her eyes and re-entered, but just as she unscrewed the cap, she froze. What the hell are you doing? Grace snapped around, hand still holding the vial. Nothing. Just checking the four. Grace tried to hide her panic by putting the vial back in her pocket. Naturally, Bridget wasn't fooled. After seeing Grace go, she hurried out into the hallway, located Bill, and drew him aside, saying, I believe Grace is having mental health issues. Tell me what you think, I said. I don't trust her around Liam. Bill's jaw tensed. The next morning, when Dr. Armstrong was prepared to prepare for the treatment, he required one more scan to establish the location of the tumor. I don't know yet, she answered, but I'm going to find out. Bridget met discreetly with the lab crew as Liam was wheeled into radiology. The results were shocking. Liam's system contained traces of a rare neurotoxin that mimicked tumor symptoms. It wasn't a tumor, it was poisoning. Bridget's heart raced. Oh my God, he's been misdiagnosed, which is why the treatments haven't worked. She had taken a blood sample and had it run privately without Grace's knowledge. Bill, your son doesn't have a brain tumor. He was poisoned. She barged into Bill's waiting room, ignoring the true reason. I have my suspicions, but we have to move fast, Bridget murmured. Bill went rigid, his fists clenching. No more delays, no more procedures. Tell Armstrong, tell everyone, and find Grace. Bill's face went to stone. Meanwhile, Hope and Steffi were strolling down the hallway when they saw Grace abruptly running out of the ICU exit doors. It's Grace, Steffi said. Something's wrong. She's on the run. Luna is here. Take her down. A nurse screamed from behind, but she was wrong. It wasn't Luna. It was Grace fleeing the hospital. Hope and Steffi chased her out of instinct, but security was already en route. Grace was tackled just outside the hospital parking structure by 2 guards. She screamed, "You don't understand." Bill came over seconds later, his eyes blazing, and he stepped up to Grace, towering over her, saying, "You tried to kill my son." Grace sobbed. I was trying to stop him from remembering. He saw something he wasn't supposed to see. What are you talking about? But Grace wouldn't say more. Back inside, Dr. Armstrong went over the new results and verified Bridget's findings. After the toxins were identified and flushed, Liam's body started reacting to the antidote. His vital signs stabilized further, his eyelids fluttered, and most importantly, Hope noticed it first. Liam. Bill walked in, stepped to the foot of the bed, and said, "You're a fighter, son. You came back to us." He moaned softly, his fingers twitched, and then his eyes opened. Steffi cried out in delight, holding his face. "Oh my God, he's back." Hope wept and kissed his hand. "Liam, you're safe now." "What happened?" Liam's voice was a hoarse whisper. Hope looked into his eyes and said, "You've been sick, but we're going to fix everything." Suddenly, the nightmare subsided. But there were still secrets hidden deep in the hospital shadows because the poisoning wasn't just Grace's fault. The person who did it had much darker plans. As the truth starts to come to light in terrifying detail, the aftermath of Grace's shocking takedown sends shockwaves through the hospital, Forrester Creations, and the Spencer family. Next week on The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill Spencer, consumed by the narrow escape his son Liam had to make, becomes obsessed with finding the mastermind behind the neurotoxin that almost killed him. As tensions rise after it is revealed that Grace Buckingham wasn't acting alone, Bridget and Dr. Armstrong step up their efforts to uncover the truth hidden in Liam's toxicology results and any surveillance footage that might point to an accomplice, even though Grace Buckingham is still in police custody and won't say anything more than cryptic phrases about protecting secrets. Hope Logan tries to remain strong for Liam, who is slowly recovering but is tormented by disturbing memory flashes, glimpses of dimly lit rooms, whispered arguments, and a familiar female voice pleading with someone to just keep giving him the doses. She had been fed information by someone with access to the medical records of the Forrester or Spencer families, and it becomes painfully clear that someone within Liam's own orbit may have betrayed him. Steffy Forrester's suspicions of Poppy Natsua, who has been acting strangely aloof and anxious since news of Liam's near death, not from a tumor but from poisoning, intensify as Liam tries to separate reality from hallucination. Poppy's secret meetings with her daughter Luna intensify as Luna begins to question what actually happened the night Liam collapsed and why her mother had been at the hospital days before he even arrived. After Bridget tells him about the irregularities in Grace's prescription records, Finn starts going through his own files. He is shocked to discover a number of prescriptions signed off under his name that are obviously forged. Furious, Finn confronts Poppy, and their heated conversation ends with Poppy almost confessing everything. Sheila Carter interrupts them, just as she is about to speak, claiming to know exactly who the real culprit is. Sheila, who is oddly composed and calculating, suggests to Finn that this web of deceit stems from the Forrester family itself, and that one of them may have approved of Grace's manipulation in an effort to control Liam's position in the company or even his romantic relationships. At Forrester Creations, Rage and Brooke are at odds once more, this time over how much to tell the board and the public. Since Liam is a Spencer and a major ally of Forrester, Ridge fears that the scandal could undermine shareholder confidence, particularly if a doctor with ties to Forrester, Grace, was involved. Brooke, on the other hand, insists on being honest and cautions Ridge that keeping the truth could backfire, particularly if more lives are at stake. Steffy notices their renewed connection and starts to question whether Hope is emotionally ready to manage her feelings, especially now that Liam is regaining awareness and starting to ask difficult questions about what happened while he was unconscious. Meanwhile, Thomas Forrester, recently returned from Paris, gets caught up in a firestorm and sides with Hope after learning what she has endured watching Liam hover near death. Hope attempts to reassure Liam, but it's obvious that something deep inside of him was disturbed, and he now feels someone meant for him to die. Liam's first demand is to see Beth, but when she comes to visit, he has a horrible flashback to hearing someone declare he won't live to see her grow up.